All right, welcome to Editing Breakfast, where we break down editing on CapCut in 5 minutes. This actually means that you can watch it over breakfast and you can actually learn CapCut every day. You can also watch the videos anytime, but it's intentionally 5 minutes so you can watch it over breakfast. So if this is something you like, don't forget to save or share this video, like this video, and subscribe. Don't also forget to make sure that you turn on the bell notification so that you can get more updates about this breakfast tutorial. And today we'll be continuing what we already started on text layers. Um, and we'll be diving deep into some other things we didn't get to touch in part one. So let's get into it. Today we'll be talking about glow, we'll be talking about shadows, we'll be talking about curves, and there'll probably be more text parts because we have to cover things like bubble effects, animation, tracking, text to speech, and all of that. So for today, I have this text right here. My name is Sai. If you want to know how I was able to do the text layer, how I was able to arrive at where I am now, you need to watch the first video on text layers. So if you click on your text layer, it brings out all this option in your menu. And this is your text menu. If you scroll down, we're in glue. So once you enable glue, what happens? It adds some glue to it. Okay, which is interesting. Now you have some parameters to play with. You can change the color of your glue. Okay, you can make it red, and you can see that glue right there. You can make it blue. You can see that glue right there. But I personally just keep my glue on white all the time. You have intensity sliders to play with on how bright or how low you want the glue to be. You have range, which actually is more like a disperse or more like a distribution. How much distribution you want on the glue, how much of it do you want it to splash? That's just a simple way to put it. And that's basically it about glue. I'm just going to disable that now. We're going to move into shadows. Now you're not going to be able to see shadows because this is a black background, and right now our shadows are color black. But if we make it red, you see those shadows. But just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to actually go into library, and I'm going to bring out this white layer here, and I'm going to drop it under the text layer. So I'm going to change the text color as well to black so that we can see some shadows. When we go into shadows, I'm going to change my shadow color to black. Okay, see now we have that nice shadow. We have things like opacity. Opacity is just how much you want the shadow to show. We have things like blurriness. Okay, how blur you want it to be, or it can also serve as a disperse, just like what we had with the range on the glue. It can serve as some distribution. We also have something called distance. Now distance is very interesting because it actually moves the shadows and make them look like they are off the wall. So this looks like, now this text looks like it's not on the wall, and then the shadow is reflecting on the wall at the back, and that's actually something that you can really use when it comes to text. It's really useful. Now, but what's also interesting is that this distance works with an angle, meaning that the angle can change. Okay, and that's the next slider on that distance. It's that you need to manipulate the distance, how far you want it to be from the text, with also at what angle do you want it to be, because at different angles it gives a different feel. Right now it feels like there's a light under reflecting up, and then the shadow is reflecting there. This feels like the light is coming from the right. This feels like the light is coming from the left. Okay. This feels like the light is coming from somewhere at the top, bouncing on it, and then the shadow bounces on the wall. And so that's actually something interesting to explore right there. I'm just going to disable the shadow. We're going to move on to curves, which is actually pretty straightforward. So what is curves and what does curves do? Curve basically curves your text. So if you have a straight on text and you want to put it over, say, my head right now as I'm recording this, or you want to put it over something, you want it to bend, basically, you can just enable curve. And when you enable the curve, you have something called strength. So this is what you basically be using to manipulate your curves. Your strength can either be positive or negative, and what that means is it can either bend clockwise or anti-clockwise. So what bend really does is it creates some sort of anchor point. If you're used to other applications, they have something called an anchor point. It creates an anchor point just at the center of your text, and then it bends it from that anchor point. Okay, bends it from that anchor point, bends it from that anchor point. And so that's about what we're going to be talking about today on text layers. We basically covered most of it in part one. This is part two, and I'm definitely going to be doing a part three because we have things like animation, we have things like text to speech, um, we have things like tracking, effect, bubbles that will be good to cover and you should know about. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to get more updates on videos like this. You also want to turn on the bell notification so you can get notified anytime I post these videos. Other than that, I'll see you on the next one.